an expert of the law came up to Jesus and he asked him, "What do I have to do to be saved?" And Jesus asked him, "Well, what does the law say?" And the man said, "I need to love the Lord my God with all my heart and my soul and my mind and my strength, and I need to love my neighbor as myself." And Jesus said, "That's right. Do those things and you'll live." But the man wanted to justify himself. So he said, "Well, who's my neighbor?" And so Jesus tells a story. And he says, there's a man who's going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. And as he's on the road, some robbers came and they beat him up and they stripped him of his clothes and they took everything he had and they left him half dead on the road. Well, coming down this road was a priest who had just come from worshiping in Jerusalem. This priest comes down. He sees the man laying on the road. What does he do? He walks on the other side and he keeps going. Well, then a Levite came down. And Levites had to work in the temple too, like the priest. When he sees the man laying there, but he also walks on the other side of the road and keeps going. Well, along comes a Samaritan. And the Samaritan sees the guy laying there. And he was filled with compassion for the guy. He felt bad for him. So he took the guy and he cleaned his wounds. He poured oil on his, and I think it was oil and wine on his wounds. He took him and he bandaged him up. And he set him on his own donkey. And he carried him down to Jordan to an inn. And he told the innkeeper, he says, "Look, I'm going to give you 2 silver coins. Look out for this guy. And when I come back, if he incurs more payment, if it takes more work than these 2 coins will cost, then let me know and I'll pay you back for it." And so he left him in the hands of the innkeeper with money. So Jesus then asked the expert of the law, he says, "So tell me, these 3 guys who saw the man lying on the road, which one acted like a neighbor towards him?" And the man says, "The one who had mercy on him." And Jesus said, "That's right. Go and do likewise." So now we're going to dig deeper. What is love? Let's read John 15:13. Jesus says, "Greater love has no one than this, that he laid down his life for his friends." And 1 Corinthians 13. I'm going to read the entire chapter of 1 Corinthians 13. Listen carefully. "If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. Now we see but a poor reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these 3 remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Why do we love? John 13:34-35. A new commandment I give you. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. So, because Jesus loved us first, we love other people. Love teaches the world about Jesus too. So that's how they know that we are really followers of him, is if we have love. Who do we love? Matthew 22:37-39. Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commands." So first we love God, then we love our neighbors. Now we're going to read Luke 6:27-28. But I tell you who hear me, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you. So, we're supposed to love and pray for our enemies. Just a little side note on that. This is how Christians won over many people in the early church, is they loved their enemies, and their enemies couldn't comprehend why they were being loved, why these people would respond the way they did. And many of them became Christians because they saw that love, and it was very, very attractive to them, how they could love under such sometimes very horrific circumstances. It's easy to love people who love you back. It's easy to love people who are popular. But to love someone who mistreats you, and I'm not talking about staying in abusive relationships, but I'm just talking about love. We need to define what love is. Love is seeking what is best for the other person. To truly love someone who mistreats you, that is something that's a love that you don't see in this world naturally. That's a love that comes from God. So now we're going to read 1 John 4:19-21. We love because He, God, first loved us. If anyone says, I love God, yet hates his brother, he is a liar. For anyone who does not love his brother, whom he has seen, cannot love God, whom he has not seen. And he has given us this command: whoever loves God must also love his brother. So we love our fellow believers. So we love God, we love our brothers, we love our enemies, we love each other, okay? Love is there's no one off limits, no human being off limits for us to love. How do we love? Let's look at John 14, verse 15. Jesus says, "If you love me, you will obey what I command." So loving Jesus means we obey him. In John 21:17, we're going to read another way that we love God. The third time, Jesus said to Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." So loving others includes telling them what God has done for you, sharing Jesus with them. That is a way of loving other people. When he talks about feeding my sheep, Jesus is saying, share with them, help them grow, disciple them, basically. So that's another way we show our love for God. The next part is setting goals and praying. So with the go, who will you share with? Who can you train? With the grow, what is God telling you from these passages that you should do? So One suggestion is intentionally show love by helping your neighbors. Who will you help? How will you help them? And you can continue reading 2 to 4 chapters of Mark each day, or whatever Bible reading you have. And the last part is pray for each other for boldness and loving obedience. Thank you for joining us, and look forward to seeing you next time.